Teens are home right now. Get them to come to the screen. School's out for summer. That means a lot of teens. They're going to be on the road a lot more. However, car crashes are still the #1 killer of American teens. Here are some tips and ideas on how you can help your teen stay safe while behind the wheel this summer. It's Emily Rivera with State Farm. I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Crystal. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So let's get right into it. What are the leading causes of crashes for teen drivers?
Right. Well, still #1, Crystal, is speeding, shortly followed by drinking and driving, distracted driving, and amazingly enough, still not wearing a seatbelt and having multiple drivers in the car with you.
Do you think a lot of parents just don't know, what their teens are doing when they're not with them in the car?
You'd like to think that that's not the case, but we were all teenagers once. So it's hard to know what's happening when you're not with your teen, and you can't really be with them all the time.
Absolutely not. And as you mentioned, the #1 cause, or the #1 leading cause, is speeding.
Right.
So just going even, 10 miles per hour over the speed limit can be a really bad choice.
Absolutely. I mean, they talk about what happens when you're in an accident at 30 miles per hour and what that crash rate really feels like, and the number of fatalities that increase with that level of speed.
You mentioned also drinking and driving. Should parents be talking with their kids before they head out for the weekend, or just right now in general?
Right. I think starting at a very young age, of course, about the hazards of drinking and driving is really important. And just at a basic level, all the many things that can happen when you do choose to drink and drive.
Right.
From the basics of just losing your license to, of course, injuries and fatalities, not just yourself, but other people, bystanders.
Absolutely. And buzz driving is drinking and driving. People may think, I'm buzzed. They may say it at a party.
Right.
You're still drunk.
That's right. You can still go to jail even if you've had only one sip of alcohol.
And it does impair your driving.
Absolutely.
Especially teens. They don't have as much experience on the road as, other drivers do.
That's absolutely true, although that's not necessarily an excuse, whether you're a teen or an adult, of course.
Absolutely. So we were talking, #3 is distracted driving.
Yes.
Now we always talk about cell phones. That is a big distraction, but we were talking about other teens being in the car. You said that's a higher rate of crashes.
Absolutely. So the frequency of injury and death increases significantly with the number of passengers your teen has in the vehicle.
And why is that?
So, just think about it. You've got one person in the car talking to you, you've got the stereo up at a certain volume, and now perhaps your phone is buzzing because someone is texting you. Let's count the number of distractions that are occurring. How can you possibly keep both hands on the wheel and 2 eyes on the road when that's happening?
Absolutely. Do you guys recommend that maybe parents limit how many other teens or kids can be in the car with their teen driver?
Yes, have that discussion. Even when they're fully licensed and they can start to make those choices themselves, set those boundaries and rules. What is allowed, and how are you going to follow up and check on that with them?
Okay, and let's get right into this. We were also talking about there are things parents can do to look into the car before their teen even hits the road.
Right.
That can really, help them from getting into a crash, correct?
Correct. And I do this with parents in my office all the time. We sit down and we talk about what should you be looking for. After your teen has driven the vehicle, go out, open the door, sit down. Where is the seat set? Can you reach the pedals? Your teen's probably a little bit shorter than you, maybe. And if you can't comfortably reach the pedals, your teen probably can't either.
And what does that do?
And that really limits your ability to control the vehicle. If you're not at the right distance, you can't quickly maneuver and operate. Additionally, what's the volume set at the stereo? Turn the car on. If it's blaring so loud you can't hear yourself think, well, your teen probably can't do that either.
Absolutely. And they may not even notice that mom or dad went out there to go check after them.
Right.
So it's something you could do without them even knowing, and you really just getting on top of it. So you mentioned there's a lot of information on State Farm website, correct?
Right.
Tell me about
That's
that.
safeteendriving.statefarm.com. Also, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, State Farm has given a $25,000 grant towards Mothers Against Drunk Driving to help prevent drunk driving with teens. Also, Safer New Mexico Now is a wonderful organization that does a lot to promote safe teen driving.
So if you're a little hesitant on what to say to your teen driver, there are a lot of different avenues that you can really look into to help you with this conversation.
Absolutely, yes.
And as you mentioned, start the conversation now. Don't wait until the weekend. Don't wait until they're about to go out. Start it now, today, and just keep reinforcing it.
Correct.
I want to thank you so much for joining us
Thank
this
you.
morning.
Thank you.
For more information on this, go to our website, krqe.com. We'll be right back.